Okay, good afternoon. So this will be a microscopic examination. We have quite a bit of slides. We have I see 6, but I think that we should have 7. So why one is missing actually? We should have 7, not 6. Of course, one is here. Okay, so 7 slides. So we'll do it very quickly because there are many slides, so we can do it thoroughly. Just, it's kind of like, ongoing review. These were all of it was taken from the Crucible, and it's all sort of stages between fires with turpentine, without turpentine, after electrolysis, before electrolysis, and one was taken from a bit that was placed on the Sayeret Cheruv, and also it's a little bit different, but all of it is from the Crucible. So we will not do it exactly chronologically, but we will start actually with the latest, with the ones that I've taken now. So they were subjected to the most fire and electrolysis. But it should be said that yesterday I've added, as you could see in the short videos, I've added to the mixture quite a bit of material from the metal containers. That it's very heavy on it's very it's a little bit like it's wax and honey wax. You could see a little bit of honey, but mostly wax with all sort of dense life forms that are very creepy. That actually some of it can be seen by the naked eye. So I've added it to the mixture, so we'll have more, both more fuel and more life forms, and hopefully more neos. And so so that's it. And now the mixture is actually quite solid. Right after the fire, it's still. You can get. At the bottom, it's. Yes, it's kind of like liquid, but it's mostly pretty solid. But the electrolysis was on for maybe 5 hours, and I placed the rods in a place that is not completely solid because anyway the conductivity is not very high. So I wanted to be a little bit more conductive, from not the worst case scenario from conductivity standpoint. But the whole issue of conductivity in the electrolysis chamber with the neros is a huge issue, and I've spoken about it in the past. It's a huge scientific issue because it's actually it's you don't always want. Even though they are the neros are superconductors, and the idea of the electrolysis is to create chains of superconductors that will able to work in a very efficient way, but you don't always want the material to be as conductive as possible, because then it's getting very quickly too hot, because not all the construction is superconductors. Of course, the rods, for example, they are not superconductors. The rods of the electrolysis, and when it's very high conductivity with a lot of neros in it, and this was shown in several videos, the rods are evaporating before your eyes. They're melting very quickly, or galvanizing, and there is a lot of steam and all sorts of effects. So the issue of conductivity in the electrolysis chamber is with neros is very complicated one. Not always you want it to be conductive, but not. But there are all sorts of constraints. So this shouldn't be like a theoretical video, but mostly just evidence. So let's start taking a look at the evidence. I'll start with the latest ones they've just taken now. I'll try to limit my commentary, because there are 7 slides and I want to review all of it and do it as quickly as possible. But you said, you don't even need, I guess that, even if with a little bit of experience, you understand that what we see here is huge neros, like very big neros, which is very good because that's what we actually want. And presumably, I mean, we wouldn't want too many life forms because the idea is to use the crucible in a way that I have used the metal electrolysis chamber in the past, which means that it's mostly used for energizing the neurons, so they will multiply and become bigger without like being an ecosystem with life forms. And also it should be said that the life forms that we do see here are probably incredibly durable because they withstand not only electrolysis but more importantly several, I mean, serious fires with not only with oil, burning oil and wax, but also with quite a bit of turpentine. So the life forms that you do see, and you wouldn't see many, but those that you will see are incredibly durable. This is so beautiful, actually. This looks like a Stargate. Wow, this is so nice. It looks like Stargate, and it's nice to see that, I mean, the change of focus is different between like what's outside the Nero and what's inside. It's very nice. I don't actually know what it is. It might be a huge life form, and it might be, I don't know what is it. see many many neos in all sorts of sizes, shapes, widths. Like, I mean, and these look like a disgusting. I mean, like this one is the life form from hell. Maybe we'll zoom in. It looks like a microbe from hell. Yeah. Nasty one. With the sausages. So nice, but many Neros and not many life forms, which is great. And pretty much, I mean, it's a continuous of trends that we have already seen. So it's going to be interesting to. This is the latest sample, so it's going to be interesting to keep. To keep like conducting more. I mean, doing more fire in this crucible, but also. What I think I should do now is, I should use more like turpentine and more oil for like hotter fires and try to keep the flame as, for longer periods. But also it's more important to actually, I would say, two things should be done, I think now. First, up the electrolysis game. Armed with all the, knowledge that I have. I have a ton of, all stuff theoretical and practical, engineering related, knowledge regarding the electrolysis chamber that I have had for months of, of experiments, usually with metal containers, and also with magnetism. So I think that now we should actually. Create kind of use the same crucible, but add pieces of metals and magnets, and also make the use more I would say sophisticated setup of the rods of the liquids, because right now I'm using the naive setup of one positive, and one neutral, and this is it's not the optimal. You can actually create, even with just one transformer, you can actually create multiple circles, and so it's you can use one there is a setup of one neutral and several parallel positive ones, and and it could be the other way around. Also kind of options. So, and this is kind of a technical thing that I have some experience with it, and this could be used to enhance the efficacy of the electrolysis tremendously. So I should do it. I should also, create. Add material to the mixer that will make it more conductive, because it's not conductive enough right now, even though, as I said, it shouldn't be too conductive. So this is also something that should be done. And also what I want to do is to make the to enlarge the crucible, probably by adding something that will look like this. Actually, very similar to this. I could have actually used this exactly this one. Actually, because it's really, it's exactly the size that I want. This metal container, but I do not want to use metal container. I want to use, I want to use clay because of two reasons. First of all, the symbolic, which is very important. The red clay symbolizes humans. This, I want. The symbol is important because it signifies to the starship to, do all sorts of things electrocute or create germs in the bodies of humans, and this is my main concern now. And if I'm going to use the metal containers, this will signify that I refer to titans, even though it's not the whole. It's not only that. There's also the issue of the color symbol, but but yes, it should be made out of clay, red clay. Because the symbolism is very important. and it's have like a huge implication on reality. And also, clay doesn't store temperature as much as like this one. I mean, if this was like, if I would make this kind, like, I mean, I refer to it as kind of like a chimney, but it should like be, I mean, be like all around like the crucible. Like the crucible should be like should look like that, but upside down. So the crucible will be here, and I don't want it to get it, so it will be made out of clay. And on the top, actually, the top will be like, I mean, sealed, because the symbols are placed on top. Right now, I'm very limited with the use of symbols because of the fire, and I want to be able to keep the symbols while the fire is lit. So the way to do it is to create a chimney like that. So I mean, but upside down. So here, so and the smoke will I mean, get out of the chimney from all the sides. Actually, it will be very I mean, just, I mean, this is even almost a correct actual size, but so it will be very similar to this tool, but I mean made out of clay, a little bit larger, and it will be placed on top of the crucible. And on top of, so on the top, I'll be able to put like more elaborate symbols, and the smoke will get out from here. This will also increase temperature of the crucible, which is something that I want to do. And as I said, I mean, and the electrolysis should also be, I mean, this we should use better setup for the electrolysis. You can ask, I mean, do I plan to conduct both electrolysis and fire at the same time? So this doesn't make, I mean, you don't need to be a professor of physics to understand that this doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, so, I mean, the simple answer is no, I do not intend to do it. Perhaps there is kind of like a theoretical appliance that can be used to supply energy for the neurons, like both from heat, like heat energy and electrical energy, and perhaps even by the usage, I mean, of electrolysis, like not only the electrical energy, but energy that, I mean, that is supplied by, I mean, the principle of electrolysis, perhaps, but this requires a lot of thought and most probably materials and tools that I don't have in my possession. I mean, I have almost nothing here. Certainly, the normal approach, I mean, doesn't will not work and doesn't make any sense because when the material is so hot, the conductivity is tremendously, getting tremendously lower. So even let's say that, I mean, the neurons, we don't know how, I mean, my assumption since long ago is that there are some kind of like room temperature superconductors. It is of course like a great, because, and something that is not known to humans, like it's only speculation, and then it's amazing. But as I said many times, I do not, actually the definition of room temperature superconductor is not clear cut, because like what room? I mean, room in Alaska, or room like, I mean, in the winter in Alaska, or room like in the summer in the Sahara Desert. So I mean, and the important thing is that they can withstand high temperature, and they can work and they can perform work. They can certainly, harness electrical energy to do work. This was established long ago. That yes, they are very fond of electrical energy, and they work much better with electric. Tremendously more efficient when they have electrical energy than without it. They can work without electrical energy, and any other source, but it will be, 1,000 times slower, or I don't know, much slower, and not dependable. And the fact itself that they are not burned in the process is kind of in itself, it kind of a good clue that they are superconductors even in room temperature, because they are so small, but yet they create relatively large work. Even work. They can create work that you can see in your own eyes, even though it's not not non-microscopic. So they produce much work without producing heat in the process, because I mean, there are two options. Either they do not produce heat in the process, which is that is the definition of superconductor, or they produce heat, but they do not care about it because they are resistant to heat. And we see now that they have some resistance to heat. But I'm most certainly the first option is the more probable one, that they just do not produce heat, which is the classical definition of superconductor. Because, and we also, let's not get into it now. I've spoken about it in the past. It's a very interesting scientific issue. I don't want to get too much into it, but the point is that it was demonstrated right from the beginning that they work better, more efficient in lower temperature, like in freezing temperature, like in minus 20 Celsius. But even if the optimal temperature for working minus 20 Celsius, they can still they still fall under the definition of room temperature superconductors, because superconductors that are known to humans, they only manifest the superconductivity phenomenon in much lower temperatures, and this has a huge implication on the viability of any manufacturing process, because it's tremendously cheaper and easier to create manufacturing environments with minus 20 Celsius than minus 100 Celsius. Anyway, we have a ton of evidence that these entities manifest the behaviors of room temperature superconductor. Also, by the way, another kind of behavior is the fact that they are always aligned to most probably to the magnetic field of the Earth, which is something that defines type 2 superconductors, and I don't have any other explanation of this alignment. And this is something that you can see in every microscopic evidence. So it's another proof. But maybe they have a new category. Maybe the regular categories of superconductors do not apply to these entities. So what's important for me is not really to establish the fact that they are room temperature superconductor or not, but to understand the crux of the issue, which is the relationship between temperature and efficiency of work. Because on the one hand, we've seen right from the beginning that they work better in freezing temperature. But on the other hand, we see that they themselves they have no problem in living in a burning flame with super flame, and so it's not they have tremendous resistance to heat. So there's a question here of and I don't think that it's within, even remotely within my capabilities to actually create it's kind of the tools, laboratory tools, or engineer the tools that can will be able to sustain both electrolysis and fire at the same time. Certainly, normal or naive implementation of the crucible and electrolysis chamber will completely fail, because what will happen is that the wires will burn, and the poles the poles will burn, the electrolysis rods will burn, and the wires, there are many things to think about. The conclusion of all of this discussion is that the practical conclusion is that I should continue doing doing it intermittently. The fire, and after the fire electrolysis, and then fire electrolysis, but not at the same time. So let's get back to evidence, and we should inspect more slides. Okay? So we see mostly smaller neurons here, not many large ones that we've seen in the previous slide. But it should be said that, we see mostly like fatter neurons. Actually, because all of the recent microscopic evidence was was taken from the Crucible. So the fat standard is kind of like the new standard. So you probably when I say fat, it's like related to the average of like all the experiments that were taken from examples that were taken previously, like during the months of experimentation without the Crucible. So, but it's kind of like I would say that it should be said that it's so consistent that it's kind of like becomes like the norm that the neurons from the Crucible that of course were characterized by the fact that they were energized with heat energy are on average fatter in a statistically significant way than other types that were created either by the ecosystem pathway of multiplying or by electrolysis, but without the heat, the Crucible stage. Okay, so this is about it. This is a nasty life form. You see smaller neurons mostly here. You will see Neo walking on the life form. Very big microbe, like huge microbe. Look how big it is. This is 64 magnification, so this one is a huge microbe. Of course, not carbon based. So yes, mostly smaller ones, but not tiny. We don't see many big ones in this. Nice. This one is very beautiful. Let's zoom in, just to take a closer look. Yeah, very beautiful one. Wow. So we see a flow because it's I pressed this lens presses, like when it presses the cover, it creates flows. So we see all sort of like very tiny Neros in the flow, which is nice. Also a life form. Many Neros. So yes, it's all of these slides are full of Neros, and I'm searching for the ones that I'm like more, that I have like more research interest are the larger ones, but it's also fine that we have a very large quantity of like pretty big one, even though if it's not not like the huge, but so it's okay. It makes sense that in order to create a really huge one, we should again put more effort, to create like better, more sophisticated experiments. So, but let's continue with this Crucible, and as I said, create this chimney and create a more sophisticated electrolysis setup. Okay, so slide number 4. So we can see many Neros already. This looks like a huge life form, like complicated life form is on top of burned cotton. This is a nasty life form over there. Yes, sausage type. We've got some disgusting life forms here in this slide. Yeah, this one is pretty. Let's zoom in. Yeah. It doesn't have like a geometric shape, but there's like there is interesting contrast between like the texture within it, like an outside. Let's even zoom in a little more. So I can't focus on the rim. I can't find the rim. Never mind. Huge life form. So that's about it. Okay, this one wasn't particularly interesting. Let's continue. Wow, so beautiful. Very big and beautiful. Wow. And also smaller one, you can see all over the place, smaller ones. Wow, very beautiful. Nice. Wow, they are big. This is 64 magnification, big and very beautiful. Wow, very nice light. This one is a real keeper. Incredibly rich with Neros and very big ones. Okay, so we have two more. Let's run through it quickly. Very nice Neos. Very geometrical in their shape. Not very big ones, but they're very kind of like very geometrical. Or I mean, simply says very round. Okay, so the last one was taken from it was taken from the Crucible, but then it was placed like on the Sayeret Haruv, on the cruiser, on the alien cruiser ship, and it was burned over there. I don't know if it means much because it's basically the same material. Just it's somewhat different from the other 6 because after it was taken from the Crucible, there was another stage like on the cruiser. So. But maybe it wouldn't mean like anything at all. Let's see. Let's check. But it was exposed to oxygen for several for like something like 10 hours or so. So unlike the most of the material in the Crucible. So this is another something to consider. Very nice Neos. Wow, very nice ones. Very nice ones. Wow. Very nice. Very, very nice ones. And so many. So actually the time on this on the cruiser didn't hurt it. I thought maybe we will see less Neos, significantly less because it was kind of like more exposed to oxygen because it spent time on the on the cruiser, on the starship, but still we see quite a bit of Neos, so they survived the starship riding the starship, they survived riding the starship pretty well, it should be said. We don't see huge ones, but we see a very large amount of pretty big ones and actually nice ones. So this is actually very, I'm kind of like, I don't have energy now and it's already 45 minutes video. So I'm really cruising over it very quickly. But this is actually a very interesting slide. And if I had more energy and now I would have inspected it much deeperly. So of course, because actually we see many interesting stuff here. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting it to be mostly dead because of the time on the cruiser. But it seems that the time on the clay cruiser, here, just right here, and didn't affect it negatively. And also, of course, I burned it. What I do is that I place material on the cruiser and then I burn it with fire. This is kind of another way to signify that for the cruisers to operate a meat grinder. This is particularly required when there are too many, environmental attacks from the neighbors and the people in the apartment. That they, I never have a moment of rest, and this is kind of a way to speed up the meat grinder. But it seems that the Neos are surviving pretty well. All this ordeal on the spaceship. So this is it. This is the end of the slide. Maybe we'll try to zoom on one of these because they are very nice. So the focus, all the mechanical parts of this microscope needs like a serious refurbishment. But I'm reluctant to do it myself because I don't want to break it and to ruin it. And of course the lenses needs cleaning, all of it, and most of them did this one, which is very dirty. Okay, so we've reviewed everything, and it was done quickly because I had many and I don't have much energy for this kind of thing. But it's important because it's an ongoing experiment. Probably later today I will, as I said, I want to focus more on starships. But if I'll find time and energy to work on the chimney of the Crucible, which it's not really a chimney. I mean, it's kind of as I said, it looks very similar in sizes to just like this container, but made out of clay. For the purpose of both to be able to use the symbols from above, which I cannot do now, and while letting the smoke getting out from the sides, and also to increase temperature, and maybe we'll have continue with as I said. Creating a little bit more sophisticated electrolysis setup. But we will continue with the same direction, with the same material, because I find the results, that the results are always pretty nice, and are actually even getting a little better with time, because actually the first one in this video was the latest one, and it was very successful. But so we should continue with these directions, and as I said, my priority is to try to create larger ones, even though creating large amounts of medium ones or pretty big ones, but not huge ones, is also very important.